Hi, my name is Nadia binti Wan Abdul Wahab. Today I will present to you all about my final year project with a title Physicochemical Properties, Antioxidant and Toxicity of Kombucha tea. You know that kombucha tea is prepared by mixing of sugar, tea and scoby that are obtained from a previous fermentation that is allowed to ferment at 20 degrees C to 30 degrees C for 7 until 21st day. So the acetic acid bacteria, lactic acid bacteria and yeast are the common microorganisms that involved in the fermentation of kombucha tea that will result in the development of cellulose-like polycyclic layer on the surface of fermentation medium. So the cellulose-like polycyclic layer will be used in the following fermentation, or this method is known as a backsloping. So the fermentation of kombucha tea will produce organic acids such as lactic acid, gluconic acid and acetic acid. So, the inclusion of tea that high in a phytochemical in the formation of kombucha beverages has reported to remarkably increase the antioxidant capacity of kombucha beverages. So, antioxidant value was determined by the variable using antioxidant power, FRET, DPPH, and ABTS radical scavenging. So, despite this, there have been reports of kombucha tea toxicity, including lactic acidosis in asthmatic lady, hepatotoxicity, and others. For the product statement, we know that the kombucha product widespread and growing on the market due to the popular notion that these products are the natural origin and safe. But there are reported cases on the toxicity of kombucha tea, such as lactic acidosis in asthmatic lady, subacute toxicity, hepatotoxicity, and others. So, lack of study at the regulatory enforcement level and standard on the safety and toxicological of kombucha tea, particularly in Malaysia. For the significant study, this review paper will purpose a consumer in choosing and consume the kombucha tea at the best and right amount. And then the effect of bioprocessing method using different substrate on the antioxidant activity of kombucha tea will be detailed review. And this review paper will help the regulatory body to review and use it as a baseline or reference for standard and regulatory development. This study embarks on the following objective. Firstly, to review the effect of different processing methods on physiochemical properties of kombucha tea. Second, to review the effect of different processing methods on antioxidant properties of kombucha tea. And then to review the toxicity effect when consumed kombucha tea towards humans. The research questions on this review are: what is the effect of different processing methods on physiochemical properties of kombucha tea? What is the different processing method on antioxidant properties of kombucha tea? Is kombucha tea toxic for human consumption? This part, we answer the first objective. So, as we all know that organic acids are always considered the essential factor in tea infusion sour taste. So, the production of organic acid varying with time is shown in table 1. So, from the table, we can see that the increasing fermentation time will also increase the concentration of organic acid content in kombucha tea. This part also covers the first objective. Okay, so since the organic acid produced during fermentation are thought to be primarily responsible for functioning activity, so pH is the most crucial factor when determining the microbiological safety of kombucha. So, based on table 2, we can see that the pH level gradually decreases until 60 days. Here you can see the table show that different in ethanol and acetic acid productivity with different period of fermentation. So, from the previous table, we can see that there are three factors that affect the physicochemical properties of kombucha tea. Firstly, organic acid. So, from my finding, we can see that green tea has the higher as total acidity compared to black tea. Why this happened? Okay, so this difference in acidity was probably due to the predominance of different acetic acid and lactic bacteria species among the green and black tea kombucha, and consequent variation in the production of organic acid. Hence, we also can see that the concentration of lactic acid was very less in all two types of kombucha tea that have been reviewed compared to other organic acid that have been mentioned in a previous table 1. From my review, I can hypothetically expect that the most highest value is acetic acid compared to other organic acid because the main bacteria that involved in the fermentation of kombucha tea is acetic acid and yeast, which will produce the acetic acid bacteria, but there are some strains of lactic acid that have been isolated in kombucha tea. The next factor is pH. From my finding, we can see that pH level dropped drastically until 16 days. So from my point of view, I can say that the decline of a kombucha tea pH occurs because during the fermentation process, the yeast produces sugar into ethanol, and by acetic bacteria is converted into organic acid such as acetic acid and gluconic acid, and some concentration of organic acid lead to decrease in the pH of the fermentation medium. So the longer the fermentation takes place, the concentration of acetic acid will be higher. This causes the pH value of kombucha tea tend to decrease. So lastly, ethanol. So for the finding, we can see the ethanol content decline to give the lowest concentration at the end of the fermentation time. So from my finding, I can hypothetically expect that decrease of ethanol due to the conversion into acetic acid was not observed, probably because of the short period of fermentation. So this can be explained where the yeast converted sucrose into glucose and fructose and produced ethanol through glycolysis. Then acetic bacteria fermented glucose into gluconic acid and ethanol and producing acetic acid. This part, we cover second objective. So from my finding, I can say that green tea increased the ferrit reducing antioxidant power compared to black tea after 15-day fermentation. So this result might be due to the green tea itself contain more antioxidant and chemical compound than most black tea. This is because we know that black tea already undergo a fermentation process where oxygen react with the enzyme which result the loss of the catechin and polyphenol. For DPPH, Silva stated that green tea kombucha has a higher DPPH compared to green tea. So means that the fermentation has slightly increased the antioxidant activity. Therefore, from my review, I can hypothetically say that the ability of fermentation to improve antioxidant activity is primarily due to the increase in the amount of the phenolic compound and flavonoid during the fermentation. It also might be due to the phenolic that has been cleaved, means that the phenolic become free phenolic. So when it's become free phenolic, reactive side of the reaction or antioxidant becomes more. Lastly, ABTS. From my finding, I can say that the black tea has the highest value compared to the green tea. Okay, so why this happened? Okay, from my review, I can say that this might be due to the fact that black tea has the higher concentration of dimeric and polymeric phenolic compound. That's why it's more higher compared to the green tea. In my review, there are two factors that affect the antioxidant. Firstly, sugar concentration. as previously mentioned in table, the antioxidant value lowers when we use 100 gram per liter of white sugar after 15-day fermentation. Meanwhile, the antioxidant value highest when we use only 18 gram per liter sucrose after 15-day fermentation. So we can see that the antioxidant activity significantly decreases with increasing sucrose concentration. So, next is a type of substrate. Although C-Synesty is the main substrate used to produce kombucha, there are various studies with other raw material that act as the substrate to produce kombucha tea. So, all the substrates that appear in the table stand up due to their chemical composition rich in bioactive compounds, which favor various physiological effects in addition to potential biological effects associated with the antioxidant. So from my review, I can say that the sugar beet has the highest phenolic content compared to other substrates. This might be due to the sugar beet itself is abundant source of bioactive compound, mineral and vitamin. So different substrates have been stimulated mainly to develop a new beverages with more attractive properties and also to enhance the antioxidant properties. For this part, we answer the third objective. So almost all the research people report the antioxidant activity of kombucha tea, where it can kill harmful bacteria and may also aid to the treatment of various diseases, but no scientific research on that things. However, as we all know that basically all plants have antioxidant and kombucha tea known as a prebiotic where it also acts as antioxidant. Antioxidant, on the other hand, might be pro-oxidant under certain circumstances. So, however, in Malaysia, there are no legal standard specifications for kombucha tea, even though kombucha tea products are increasing in the market and human consumption. Here is the timeline of the documented case of reported kombucha intoxication, such as subacute toxicity, lead poisoning, headache, nausea, diarrhea, and others. Actually, it is difficult for us to identify kombucha tea as dangerous or not because most people who drink it have a history of illness. So I can hypothetically suggest that listen to your body. Many people, including us, drink at least one kombucha per day or often more. However, it is important to tune in to your body and recognize how it responds. As a conclusion, can conclude that the fermentation can be affected by factors such as raw material variety and amount, fermentation time, temperature, organic acid, pH, and all which contribute to beverage with varying physicochemical properties. So we also can conclude that at increased time, the pH level dropped drastically. So commercial green and black tea had pH value around 3.2 and 3.5 respectively, indicating they were safe. So acetic acid is the most common organic acid produced by acetic acid bacteria through ethanol oxidation. Okay, for further research, the following recommendations are suggested. As we all know, in Malaysia, there are no legal standard specification for kombucha tea. So it is recommended that the legal authority should develop a standard specification for kombucha tea production and propose a maximum dose to consume kombucha tea, which is intake of kombucha tea according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Drinking 110 ml until 118.29 ml of kombucha can be safely consumed 1 to 3 times a day for healthy person, which means cannot consume more than 354 0.88 milliliter of kombucha a day. Then, the legal authority must focus on labeling of kombucha tea product, which should show that anyone with health problems such as asthma should avoid drinking this drink or provide the exact quantity the consumer should drink and consume. This is because of asthmatic women who lactic acidosis improved after cutting back on her kombucha consumption for several months. Also, should emphasize the consumer warning about the probability of alcohol content increasing when not appropriately stored. So, as we all know that the biggest concern when brewing kombucha at home is cleanliness. So, if proper cleaning precautions are not be taken, the risk of mold or harmful bacteria growing are increased, which could lead to the illness.